Hello. Would help if I had music playing now, wouldn't it? Let's get this playlist popping. Boop. Playlist activated. Yeah. We're gonna need some music in the background tonight. Let me share with people that I'm live. Alrighty. Okay. I've let people know that I'm live. I've posted it. Let's hop over to the Just Chatting screen and just hang out for a little bit. And once more people are here, we'll get into the actual stuff of tonight's stream. I don't know how many people we'll have tonight. I was gonna do a gaming stream, but then I had a thought that since I want to hang out with my partner after stream, I didn't know if I was gonna have time to do a writing exercise today, and I wanted to do some writing. I don't know. I might end up doing writing with my partner, but I don't know. I just thought let's do some writing. All right, let's go to the Just Chatting screen. Hello. All right, I need to take down some of these Zoids because I'm not working on the Zoid stories anymore. At least not for now. So let me... And... Where is... There it is. Move. Remove. Okay, cool. All right. Oh, did somebody make a really cool remix of the Godzilla X Kong trailer? That's funny. Oh, someone cut all the humans out of the Godzilla X Kong trailer in an edit. That is so funny. That is so funny. That is great. Oh my gosh, that is so funny and so valid. We get way too much of the of just off-shooting bizarre human stories in these monster movies. We all know why we're there. Okay. Ah. Two people I follow on Twitter did Baldur's Gate 3 cosplays for some con recently. One of them did Shadowheart and the other one did Karlach. And they look really cool. It's really great when you see people in their element doing their thing. All right. So, how was everybody's weekend? Mine was really slow. Like, I watched some anime with my friend, with Silva. And then I didn't do a whole lot yesterday. I ended up doing a practice writing exercise, which I'll share more about when we get into the actual, like, stuff of the stream. Tonight's probably one of the nights that, tonight might be one of the nights that Naberu has, whatchamacallit, Pathfinder. So we might have no Naberu tonight. Sad face, super duper sad face. But as long as Naberu is having fun, that's super duper happy face. So yeah, last night I was like, it was so weird because we were down a player for Lancer, so we weren't gonna do Lancer, right? And so that was already agreed upon, that we weren't gonna do Lancer. And I was like, maybe I'll hang out with Okusen. Well, Okusen had made plans because we weren't doing Lancer. And I'm like, well, you know what? I didn't say that we weren't going to do Lancer so early enough. So I don't, like, they made plans. So I don't get to be like, well, I wanted to kind of hang out with you or whatever, right? But I'm hopefully going to be hanging out with Okusen on Wednesday. And so then there's that, right? And there's all that. And I was really feeling weird because, like, for the last month, every single spare moment that I had was spent, like, if I wasn't sleeping or like doing something else, all my spare time was spent writing. I was in front of a computer with my hands on the keyboard, typing, working on my NaNoWriMo project. And then all of a sudden, to just like be out of the month and then just like have this big wide open gap of spare time and then not be doing anything with it. And then just be like, well, what do I do? So I started watching some anime, and I saw one of my friends, Hero Girls, she, like, I made a tweet about it, right? And I made a tweet about it, then I went and found a series to watch. That's fine, that's whatever. I just had to be dramatic about it for a couple minutes, you know what I mean? And then after that, I was just checking Twitter between episodes or whatever. And you know what you do when you're streaming a show. And I saw that Hero Girls had replied to my tweet or post or whatever, right? And she'd said, write short stories. don't give up the everyday writing habit. Like, don't lose that touch, don't lose that feeling. If you're getting in that mode of writing every day and you get a whole chunk of spare time and you don't know what to do and you just write short stories. And I was like, I could probably do that. So I was like, what do I want to write? And I started thinking, well, what do I need practice with? And I was just like, I was in this mode where I was like, if I'm gonna write, right, I want it to be for something, some kind of a purpose, more than just like, I know you should be able to just write to write, but like, I'm the kind of person that I need something to be working on, right? Why is my model doing such weird things? Because it calibrated while I was leaning to the left, so as soon as I straightened up, it started moving to the right. Oh my gosh. Recalibrating. There we go. So I was like, well, what do I need practice with? And the thing that came to mind that I really need to practice is fight scenes. Because, like, I love action-packed, intense, dramatic fight scenes. I love reading them, I love watching them, and I love mecha fight scenes. I love mech fight scenes with, like, power armor, or with laser swords, or with giant robots. I love it. I love it. I love to see it. Love to see it. And every time, like when I was writing my novel, every time I got to a fight scene, I always felt like I didn't know what I was doing. I went through this basic thing about like, my basic rhythm for fighting fight scenes was introduce a goal. Do they get to that goal or do they not get to that goal? Oh, you're on a dungeon on 14? Cool. What dungeon was it? So my thing I was doing for writing fight scenes when I wrote my first draft of my novel was every step of the fight, I had goals where I would introduce... Oh, great. I saw you post about that on Hattie's Discord, and I just didn't say anything, but since this is my stream, I guess I can say something. I refuse to give Death Battle my time or attention. I don't, like, if you enjoy them, cool, good for you. I'm not going to say anything bashing anyone for liking them. I just don't care. Like, I don't give them my views. I unsubscribe to them. Like, I think I did. I'm pretty sure I did. Let me check. YouTube is weird. Sometimes you unsubscribe. You think you unsubscribe, but then you did it. Oh. There we go. I don't care. Maybe you should draw the fight scene first, then write it. I am not a good artist. Hello, Jusuf. Sorry, we were just talking about. Sylv had brought up Death Battle, and I got sidetracked. But drawing the fight scene first could be interesting, and when I said I don't care, I didn't mean I don't care about your comment. I meant about Death Battle. I want to make sure I clarify that. Welcome, Jusuf. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Geez, I can't believe I fumbled that one. But with drawing a fight scene, so how I normally was writing fight scenes was that I would set mini goals where I would have the protagonist or whoever was in the fight have a goal they were trying to accomplish, right? And every step of the way, they were trying to accomplish a goal. And then I would write that how they succeeded or how they failed on that goal, or how that changed the position, and then have them developing a new goal and having. Oh, cool. I'm happy for her. And I made my fight scenes these series of goals that the characters were trying to accomplish and what was happening as they were trying to accomplish them, in order to make sure that I had the story beats going. But it always felt like I was fumbling around because I had seen a video years ago about how to write a fight scene, and I hadn't really touched on it much since. And like, I write so much other stuff that once I get to the fight scene, I tend to be very verbose in how I write things, very like wordy. So and I yeah, I just got lost with it. So I was practicing yesterday, and one of my friends, Hero Girls, suggested a video. I'm like, I've seen this video before, but I'm like, it's worth watching again. Then I saw there was a follow-up video, and I watched and I took notes. I took notes on both the videos, and then I used those notes to try planning out a fight scene. But I ended up writing a short story around the fight scene to practice the macro of it. And it's really funny. I wrote a 2,600 word story, and of that 2,600 word story, about 600 of those words was the fight scene that I originally intended to practice. And it was really, really funny how that all came together. But in the doing so, I feel like I created, I built a kind of simplistic setting that I think I created a simplistic setting that I can work with. Hey Nabiru, hey Joseph, if you can't draw, why not take a photo? That works for you? Take photos of action figures fighting each other, then write about it? That sounds really interesting. I don't think we're gonna do that tonight. We're gonna go through some stuff that I learned from the couple videos I watched. I put links to the videos that I watched in the description, the ones that I'm gonna talk about tonight. They were done by, I think it was Hello Future Me. Whoop. Oop. Yeah, it was done by Hello Future Me. Did 2 videos on writing fight scenes. One was focusing on the micro of what's happening in the fight scene, of like the different individual beat to beat things in the fight scene. And then the other video was about the macro of how the fight scene fits in the larger story, the purpose of the fight scene, more of the why of the fight scene, and like more a lot of the big picture pacing stuff. I actually am debating buying Hello Future Me's book, because he's done a few books, but the ones I'm thinking about are his On Writing and World Building, where he takes the things he covers in his videos, expounds upon them, puts in more details, more information, and put them together in books. And then the books are organized based on what's in them. And I was reading what's in each one. And volume 2 is the one that deals with fight scenes and deals with pacing and a lot of stuff that I feel like I'm really weak in. I think I could probably do with reading all 3 volumes. But I think I might get volume 2. And yeah, that's interesting. Which reminds me, let me do something real quick. But it's really cool, Joseph, that using drawings and photos and action figures and Gunpla helps you out. I think that's really cool. So since I'm focusing a lot on my primary writing thing is writing mechs, writing giant robots, and writing mech battles. So like the idea of using Gunpla is tempting, but there's a whole other thing of like I don't have action figures and I don't have Gunpla. Those are just things I don't have. And there are things I don't have space for, and I don't really have a lot of places. But like drawing stick figures or something could be something that I could do. So it's not completely something that I can't do. It's something I'll think about. I never want anyone to feel like I'm dismissing their ideas or feel like I'm saying their ideas aren't good. It works for you, and that's great. That's great that it works for you. And maybe next time I'll try drawing out some stuff. Get like a little paint program or a pencil and paper, dig out a pencil and paper and draw out some fight scenes to get some ideas. But so that was how I was writing the fight scenes. Because I didn't want to be describing just what was happening on screen. I wanted to be describing, that's another thing I want to be getting into, which is getting into what's going on inside the characters, what's going on inside the mech, what's happening to the pilots. The internal monologue is another thing that I need to figure out how to like fit in there. And I feel like that 600-word fight scene I wrote yesterday, if I'd properly, with all the stuff that happened in that fight scene, if I dealt more with like the internal monologues and the character moments and stuff, it probably could have been expanded to closer to like 800 words, which is pretty long for a fight scene. Fight scenes, I actually just looked them up. Like your average fight scene in a novel, you're looking at like 1 to 2 pages, which, okay, the page thing. So like, okay, I'm used to everything counting by word count, right? Minimum length of a novel, 50,000 words. Cool, that's cut and dry. No matter how you space things, no matter what your margins or borders or your paper size is, 50,000 words is 50,000 words. Cool, awesome, outstanding. I was talking to one of my friends who like deals with things by page numbers, and he was like, yeah, that's a lot to cover, like a full novel, like 200 pages. That's a lot to get done. You'd have to get like, a few pages done a day. And he's talking and stuff in pages. And I'm like, how many words are to a page? Depending on your font size, your spacing. Like I was just baffled. And then I was just when I was looking up stuff, and I was like, how long should your average fight scene be? Just to get an idea of what I'm shooting for here. And the first references that Google gave me were like 1 to 2 pages is the maximum for a long fight scene. And I'm like, oh, gee, thanks, helpful, awesome, outstanding. So I ended up having to look up what's the average length of words for a page. And it's between it said it's between 250 to 350 words, sometimes as much as 500 words, depending on the size of your text. And I'm like, well, that's a lot. That's a lot of words. But saying that it should be between 1 to 2 pages means that your average fight scene should, I guess, be between 300 to 600 words. That is my best conversion of that. And that is what I'm sticking to it. That is where I'm at with that. Yeah, that's true. It seems like a lot until you start writing, and then you just like breeze through it. So, yeah. And I really liked how I managed to lead up to and build up to the ending of the fight scene. And part of what kept expanding was I would introduce elements into the fight scene, and then I would go back to so there's this thing in the macro of a story where you have active scenes where something is happening, and you have reactive scenes where the characters are reacting to something else, they're processing something else. It's one of those slow moments that takes place between all of the escalation and the intense story beats, right? Those lulls in the action that let the viewer breathe, that are good for exposition. That's when you have all your stuff get introduced, so that way once you get into the thick of the fight scene in the action, you don't have to go back and define everything, because you defined it all. Like all the stuff, all the elements that you're using in the active fight scene, you introduced in the reactive scene right before it in order to set the stage for the fight. Or you introduce it early in the fight in order to like put some kind of an explanation, to plant some kind of a seed like Chekhov's gun, and then you pay that off later in the fight. And that was what I was working with: setups and payoffs, setups and payoffs, setups and payoffs. And that was what I had been doing when I wrote my fight scenes, right? And I think that's not terrible. I think that's not a terrible way to write. It just always felt uncomfortable, and I didn't have a lot of practice. So I definitely wanted to practice more stuff. But going through these videos really helped with like defining a lot of things. And I'm going to share my notes. I definitely recommend you watch Hello Future Me's videos. I linked both of them. I didn't put the full title for them, which I probably should have. I just put that one of them deals with the micro, one of them deals with the macro. If people complain, I'll change the description and put the actual names of the videos. But they are both great videos, and they go into a lot of detail about planning out fight scenes for novels, how you describe things, and all that stuff. So let's get to that. Let's get to that tonight. All right. Whoop. Okay. All right, Scorpo. As much as I love you, gonna have to say goodbye for a little bit. Okay. So, first we'll go through the notes I have from the different videos, and then we'll go after we go through those notes. I will show how I use those notes. We'll go through a little bit of the fight scene that I wrote yesterday, and then we'll come up with another fight scene for tonight. So, we'll start with the micro, because that's definitely something that is more of what we'll be working on tonight. And that is a big thing. You want to maintain your cause and effect relationship. There needs to be some kind of like, this happens and then that happens. One, like cause and effect, cause and effect. Now, some people say that you should have short sentences. That is one thing that some writing instructors have said, that in a fight you should have short sentences. I've heard some people say you should have short paragraphs in order to like keep things moving, or like each paragraph's a new idea, so then you have new paragraphs, so that way it's like it doesn't become a brick of words and it goes boom 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 boom, right? But the thing that Hello Future Me suggested is that sentence length can vary. Your length of your sentences can vary, but within that sentence, you should be having multiple story beats. The individual story beats of cause, effect, thing should be very short in order to maintain a fast, intense pace. Each beat is defined by whatever verb it is accomplishing. So you look at whatever, I think you said verb. You know what? I'm going to do the writer thing and Google what is a verb. Action. Yes. Cool. Awesome. Cool. I say it's the writer thing because there's this joke that like writers there's this joke that writers like will, when you think you know what a word means, you'll Google it. You'll be like, is that really, you'll be like, I know what this word means. Try using it in a sentence, read the sentence. That's exactly how that word should look, right? Right? And then the self-doubt creeps in, then you Google it. And then you change the entire sentence and avoid the word anyway. But I know. But so you want to make, so each beat is defined by whatever verb it's accomplishing. Verbs. That's nice, Silva. You want to use, oh, my stream is having issues. Uh-oh. Yeah, I just saw that. I just looked down. I don't know why my connection's dropping out. Whoop. I might have to turn down my bitrate again. Wow, my stream is saying no data. All right, looks like we're back up. Looks like we're back up. OBS says it's having problems, but YouTube says it's fine. Oh, but as long as YouTube says it's fine, I guess. Ugh. It's frustrating because like one of the people who lives in the house that I'm at recently set up their computer and is now doing more like online gaming. At least I think it's online. So I think they said they're doing Diablo. So they're doing like they're online more and it's just more bandwidth getting used. And between that and all the kids streaming stuff in the house, you'd think kids would be in bed by now, but other people are streaming stuff. Come on. Give me a second. I'm going to see if I can't figure something out. Hello? Are we back? Are we back? I turned down all of the settings. The stream might be a little bit lower quality. Let me know if you all can see it still. Get over to this. Are we back? No, of course we're not back. I turned down everything. I am trying to have all of it situated. I think we're back. I turned down everything. I turned down. I made the stream lower quality. I made it a small. I set everything to lower settings. Are we back? We have something. Can you see me? Is the stream like significantly worse? I turned down the resolution. Vastly decreased the expected bit rate. Like I vastly decreased the expected bit rate. I turned down the resolution. To 480p. Can you all see me? Looks like we're getting some. Oh my gosh, it's still not stable. Hey Nabiru, how does this screen look? How does it look? Yes. Yes, I'm back. I'm back. That's great. Awesome. Outstanding.
Trenton.
Okay. How is the visuals? How is the audio? How are we looking? Can you all read the images on the document that I have, the text document I have on screen? Can you all read that? Let me open the stream. Let me open the stream. It looks like YouTube says the stream is healthy. My OBS is still going a little bit wonky, but visually and audio is what, barely functional, barely worse, barely, or you can barely hear me or you can barely see me. Okay, let me. me bop it up a stream. This is just the notes I took from the video that I watched. Let me pop this open. Let me pop open my stream and see what it looks like. Ooh. Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. Movement's a bit stuttery? Okay. Okay. Okay, alright. Woo. Woo. Okay. I was scared. So, like, I opened the stream, right? In order to look at the stream. And, like, I opened the stream. And at first it was super blurry. And I was like, oh no. Oh no. Is this terrible? Am I ruined? What's happening? And then, like, I realized, even though I'm streaming at 480p, YouTube, for whatever reason, only opened the stream at 240p. And I'm like, that's not okay. Oh my gosh. Okay. All right. This is just the way it's got to be for now. At least it's running. At least it's running. Let's get back on track. Let's get back on track. I'm just glad it works. Cool. I'll have to go back through the VOD later. I try to, like, skip around through the VOD to make sure nothing's terrible. But, like, I'll have to go back through the VOD later to make sure everything's working. Anyway, back to what I was talking about. So when you're writing a fight scene, sentence length can vary, but each beat should be short to maintain the pace. Each beat's defined by the verb that it's accomplishing. Use strong verbs. And then you should have phrases or sequences that is made up of, right? You want there to be sequences, and the sequences join together and they move from one to the next in order to make a chain of events, and that's how you build the fight scene, right? And there are two specific types of phrases that you want to use, right? There is the negative process phrase, which is goal, conflict, disaster, where you have one thing where you are setting a goal, you're doing something to set a goal, like that is what you're trying to do. Something happens, there is some conflict, something stops the character from accomplishing that goal, and then disaster, it goes wrong. Something happens that puts the character whose goal it was in a bad situation, right? So that's normally like, I feel like that's more of like the starting thing of like, that's generally going to be the first type of phrase you start with. That's what I feel like, because of how it just, if everything went right the first time, the fight would be over, right? And then the second type, which is positive, is react, pause, act. You want to react to whatever happened at the end of the last phrase, right? Pause. Something happens that gives the character pause. There is one moment where, like, things slow down for a second. Something's explained, something's defined, something occurs to someone, there's some kind of an epiphany. React, pause, and then act. Act is where you act on whatever happened in the pause. And you act on it, and that's when you make positive progress, when the character is accomplishing whatever the goal is that they set. Describe things. You want to describe things in a general in a general sense and skip over a lot of things that aren't important, but what you want to describe, there are certain situations when you want to use more detail, when you want to pause, when you want to go into exposition. And that is when there is a shift in the balance of power. When someone new has taken power, you want to explain that, you want to describe that in detail, right? Then there is when someone achieves a non-combat goal. So like if there is goals that they're trying to accomplish, like they're like two characters are fighting, but the one character is trying to get to the switch on the far side of the wall and flip the switch. You can describe that moment of flipping the switch in detail, because that's the big moment that they're reaching, and whatever happens when they flip the switch, because that's a non-combat goal that they've accomplished. Then there's moments that are of character importance. So something happens that is groundbreaking or important or relevant to a character for some kind of a reason that's relevant for a main character. You describe that in detail because that is something that you don't want to skip over and you don't want the reader to miss. Things that are of narrative importance, that have big implications in the story, something coming around that is a direct reference to something from the past, something that is paying off a setup that you had previously. That is another time you want to stop for more detail. You want to describe how the weapons move early in the fight, and how, like, the abilities, the magic, the things early in the fight make them feel visceral and real. Then if they happen again over the course of the fight, you don't have to describe them in as much detail. You can refer back to, like, if you explain the singeing smell in the air when the laser fires, and the blood-curdling sound as the particle beam bores through armor, right? And you describe that the first time it gets used. Then later on, if it gets used again, you can say, and then the particle beam fired. Or you can use simpler words to describe it. There was a blast of the particle beam. You don't have to go into as much detail. You want to make the thing easy to follow. And again, these are my notes I took from Hello Future Me's video. I definitely recommend watching those videos. I won't go through all these because we've lost so much time with fighting with technical difficulties and adjusting my stream. But yeah, so word choice, playing, but yeah. The macro goes into more of the hows and whys, why a fight matters, about balancing. It's funny, so in Hello Future Me's, the second video that I did, the macro, not I did, that I suggested, the macro one, because so many of the people who watch Hello Future Me's videos are into, like, fantasy, the entire section on realism, he did a collaboration with Shadiversity, which I'm like, that's funny. That's probably before things got problematic with Shad. And because it was like 3 years ago. And Shadiversity spent that time talking about swords and real sword fights, and how long real sword fights would take, and the realities of sword fighting, and why you do realism, how you apply realism. It was very interesting, but like it was all focused on like medieval sword fighting, which was really funny. And I'm like, that doesn't exactly apply to me, but I get the idea. Some of the ideas are still applicable. The idea that like your combat may end between the like your max most combats in a realistic setting are going to end by the third or fourth exchange of blows, because especially when you have lethal weapons involved. And they're talking about swords, but I feel like that's also not a bad thing to have with firearms and with guns and laser swords and all of that, in order to keep the fight from dragging on. Like, that's just a way that they all piece together. So I went on to start working on this action scene, and I developed this world, and it's very silly. All the names are very silly. Because I wasn't putting a lot of effort into coming up with names. I was using call signs. I was slapping descriptors down, and I was using generalizations. And this was my definition for creating the world of, I wanted to create a fight that was a fight between 4 grunt machines that are like very limited. They're good at a couple things, but they're very restrictive, and they are very weak against one ace machine that has powerful weapons, where it's not so much about withstanding the blows, but it's about surviving and it's about dodging. And that was the main theme I wanted for that fight scene, right? I created this very simple story of these 2 nations, the Veggie Empire, what was it? The Veggie Republic and the Meat Empire. And the Meat Empire had invaded the Veggie Republic using the Meat Empire's highly advanced machines that were capable of flight, had laser and particle weapons, and had super light but extremely thick armor, and were essentially Gundams. They were essentially Gundams. And the Veggie Republic's mechs were all they're these mass-produced machines that have solid weaponry, which I didn't really define that well, but again, that was that one. Have solid weaponry, and they can't fly, but they can booster jump, and so the people are trained in booster jumping. And then I created this story around it, which is that when the war had been dragging on for 6 years, and when they needed more soldiers because they ran out of soldiers, there was a vote in the there was a vote that was done, because it's a republic, right? So there's going to be voting, there's going to be representatives, like there's going to be democracy. But what was selected by the popular vote was that some professions were deemed unnecessary, and the people of those professions were drafted in to be mech pilots. So you have, and it's all of these things, and it's like all of the arts. And so you have these group of like artists who like are very simple people that are like middle-aged, who've been forced to learn how to pilot these giant robots and fight this war. Because I wanted to give some kind of a how and why and theme. That goes into more of what I was talking about from the second video, or what I was describing I learned from the second video, which is the macro of the hows and whys. The why is this fight happening? What question is it asking? And the question that it was asking was, do these characters have what it takes to be here? And are they willing to fight back, to fight for their country? Are they willing to fight for their homeland? I intentionally wrote it where both sides, it's not quite grimdark, but there's not necessarily one side that is the moral victor, that has the moral high ground. Yes, one group of people got invaded, but I didn't define why they got invaded. And both sides are doing kind of terrible things. Like, yeah. So, that was that story. Let me pull up the actual story, and I can show you some of the things from it. Here we go. Okay. Okay. Okay, here we go. So this was the story, and I have a link to it on my Discord of my practice fight scene. It's about a platoon, a small platoon of mech pilots. They are Onion Platoon. Their call signs are Onion 1 through Onion 4. I probably should put that in there, that all of them I'll put that there actually. There we go. Onion 1 through 4. There. That's better. I shouldn't be focusing on this because I should be writing the next one. Like tonight I wanted to write another fight scene. And we're going to get to that. And in this scene, I described the mechs they're piloting, the Satans, 40-ton, 50-ton, 40-foot tall humanoid mechs that have that are brown, have heavy armor, and powerful boosters that allow them to do a lot of jumps. And over the course of this fight, right? You find out that like they're members of the mech force, which is their branch of the military that the mechs are in. And then Onion, it sets up this thing where like Onion 3 and Onion 4, like Onion 1 is the commanding officer. Onion 1 is the platoon leader, right? Onion 2 is the platoon sergeant, who is the second in command. Onion 3 and Onion 4 are just there, are just guys. And like, there's a reason why Onion 3 and Onion 4 did not get any kind of real responsibility, and that's because both of them very much do not want to be there, and they do not want to be there, and they have not applied themselves at all, right? And it starts with Onion 3 asking, why are we here? Why do we have to be here? This is no good. We can barely make our mechs move. We can't fight. We're less than meat shields. We're wasting everyone's time and just complaining, right? Then Onion 4 pipes up and is like, listen. So Onion 1 says, all right, listen, just make it through this patrol. We just got to go through this patrol route. When we get back to base, I will arrange for you to get more time in the simulator to get more training done. And that was Onion 1's trying to be like, listen, I understand you have trouble piloting. We'll deal with it. Let's just take this as practice walking and marching. We'll get you some more target practice and stuff in the simulator when we get back. And Onion 4 is like, that's not solving the thing. Like, they don't want more time to practice. They don't want to get better. They just don't want to be here. So that kind of sets up this personality. And then the only woman on the team is Onion 2, the sergeant. And like, so then she questions whenever Onion 4 is talking about like, hey, I'm a painter. I don't belong here. Blah, 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 right? And then Onion 2 is like, are you talking about desertion? Like, what are you, like, where are you, what are you insinuating right now? And then he finally plays his cards and he says he knows that Onion 1 is a very talented pilot and had gotten really good marks in boot and was known for being a very capable pilot and fighter, and he was like, maybe Onion 1 could turn in some of that. He's essentially saying, can you use your clout that you get from being a skilled pilot to like enable me to like pull some strings to get me off the front lines. And Onion 1 has to set them straight. And he's like, listen, he's like, I was a writer. Onion 2 was a jazz musician. Onion 3 was a content creator. And you were a painter. Like all of, and just kind of, it sets, he's defining this by reminding him of something that he already knows, but it also serves to educate the reader of all of their professions were deemed unnecessary by the popular vote, and they were drafted to fight the war. And he's like, yes, I was the first one of us to make my mech walk and hit a target. But that doesn't give him any privilege, because they're thinking he might have some privilege. And as they're going, it's revealed that because of Onion 3's experience as a content creator, Onion 3... Oh, nice, Silva. Because of Onion 3's background as a content creator, they have more of a tech background. They have the advanced sensors, but they don't realize, like, they didn't pay attention to their training. So when they get a blip that shows there's an enemy machine coming their way 400 feet in the air, they're just like, my sensors are broken. And they're like, hey, can we stop? I gotta fix my sensors. And then everybody's like, no, wait, that's an enemy machine. They can fly. We need to get ready. And like Onion 1 and Onion 2 are like they are down to go. They are like, let's get behind tree cover. Let's get in position. If we work together and we aim for, we focus fire, we could take one of these down. If it's only one of them, we outnumber it and blah, 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 right? Onion 4 just runs. Onion 4 just takes this point, deserts, boost jumps over the river, and then runs into meat Empire territory. And just like completely runs away. Onion 3 is just frozen and hyperventilating. And then what followed was this whole exchange of fighting, exchanging fire, having situations, and then I worked to like trim down all the dialogue to make it shorter and snappier, and I really liked that because it definitely made things flow a lot better. And over the course of the fight, they take out one of the enemy's engines, and the machine comes towards them instead of just staying far away and shooting at them. And it tries to finish them off with its laser sword. And when they try to, then they lead it by using their, because it can't fly in a straight line through the trees. It has to keep changing directions, and because they can't fly, all they can do is boost jump. They're both better at boost jumping away from this thing, and they're just better at moving through the woods than it is. And there's a whole thing, and then they drop a tree on it, and it got set up earlier. They have these massive trees in the forest, and they drop a tree on it, and it ends with Onion 1, 2, and 3 hobbling back to base with the Meat Empire pilot in tow. So, yeah, that came out pretty well. So now we are going to write the next phase of this story. Another fight scene. We're going to do a lead-in, and we're going to do another fight scene. We're going to do a short lead in and another fight scene. Let me get this. Okay. We're not doing it in Google Docs. I'll move it to Google Docs later. I just can't type in Google Docs. I just can't. It's just not in me, chat. It's just not in me. First, we'll define. Let me switch over to the notepad. Here we go. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. So onion 1, 2, and 3 are sent to. No. Probably a trap, but the Veggie Republic doesn't leave people behind. Okay. So we just need the barest excuse for a fight scene. I want to use the same characters. I could use the same characters. Or I could use new characters. I could do garlic. Yeah, introduce new characters. Hey, Superhero 60, how are you doing? How was your weekend? I'm doing all right. We had some issues earlier with some technical difficulties. I had to like change the output of the stream and change the bit rate and restart the stream like 3 times. Is going well. Is it still week? It's Monday, right? Or do you have a 3-day weekend? Yeah, it's Monday. Okay. I was scared for a second. I'm like, don't tell me I got my days confused. Yeah, I'm scared for a second there, Superhero 60. It's fine. It's fine. Alright. Who would be the operator? There's onion, garlic. I'm doing veggies. I know it's simple-minded, but I'm doing veggies for the namings. So basically, I'm practicing writing fight scenes. I went over a fight scene I wrote yesterday a little bit. I have a link to that fight scene that I wrote and the short story that encompassed it that I wrote yesterday. I have that in my Discord in the writing section. And I'm writing another fight scene in the same world. I feel like I lost so much time yesterday when I was trying to write the fight scene, setting up the world, and creating the setting. So I'm like, if I want to keep doing this, because I want to keep practicing writing fight scenes, I want to keep practicing, but I don't want to make a new world every time I write a fight scene. So I'm just going to expand on it. Maybe if I like this world or this world gets developed enough, maybe I use it for an actual story. Maybe I use it for the setting of my next novel. Who knows? For now, it's just a silly little setting that I'm using in order to do these writing exercises. So that's what I'm working on right now, Superhero 60. The war between the Veggie Republic and the Meat Empire. In the last story, Onion 4, one of the mech pilots from the Veggie Republic, deserted and ran into Meat Empire territory. And now we're following up on that, where in this story, Onion 4's mech has turned on its distress beacon. And the signal was coming from a Meat Empire base. But the Veggie Republic knows it's probably just a trap. But the Veggie Republic doesn't leave people behind. They don't leave people behind because people are too expensive to replace. But, you know, that's like the quiet part out loud. Their government sees people as the poor people as property that it can use and abuse as it sees fit, and it doesn't like it when people takes its stuff. It's not quite grimdark, but it definitely leans into the neither side of this war are good guys. So they're being organized by an operator. Woman known as Salt One. Pilots. All right. Cool. Operators are seasonings. Pilots are vegetables / fruits. Mechs are protein sources. Cool. We have a naming convention, everybody. I know it's silly, and that's part of the fun of it, is that it's silly, it is oversimplified, but since I'm doing this for a writing exercise and everything is just a thinly veiled excuse to practice a fight scene, it doesn't have to be that complicated. Which I think is going to be really funny if I end up writing enough of these to string them together into an actual story. I think that would be really funny. What if fighting food was a mecha? Oh my gosh, Nabiru. Okay, Salt One is their woman in the chair. That's basically what I did, but better. Are you saying what I did is better than fighting Foodons was mecha? Or are you saying that fighting Foodons with mecha is better than what I'm doing? That's a very confusing sentence you phrased there, Nabiru. What I'm doing is better? Okay, thank you, Nabiru. Just had to make sure. Just had to make sure. It's the meat. I keep getting them. I want to make the things very, very different. Meat Republic makes large numbers of mass-produced units that use cheap parts and weapons. Works with all the things the Congress does. Accomplished by oh my gosh, I'm doing it again. I'm getting lost in the lore, chat. I'm getting lost in the lore. I just was trying to create a thing and then I was like, why would this work? Why would this work? And then just answering that question of why would it work, I fleshed it out. I did the thing, chat. No. Okay. I had to adjust my chair. But yeah, I did the thing, chat. Sorry about that. I had to adjust my chair. Okay. So. So the veggie mech is the Satan, and the flying mech was the flying mech was the beefsteak, which probably should have been the chicken, now that I think about it, but that's funny. Base has 2 beefsteaks stationed here. One taken down by Onion Platoon. Mountainous region. Cool. So it's got 2 beefsteaks normally. It's down to 1 beefsteak because it's taken down by Onion Platoon. And rescue Onion 4. So maybe it's not as mech. Maybe it's like a subdermal. So maybe it's not as mech. So since it's a collectivist society, maybe they have like subdermal tattoos that act as like things they can use for communication devices. Ooh, that's a cool plot development. They have subdermal things, so they don't really carry around cell phones and stuff. Everybody just has their microchips in their body that they use for like having their smartphone essentially attached to the wrist. Okay, Salt 1's controlling small squad of drones. Okay. Alright, so the overarching goal. Find and rescue Onion 4. That's their overarching goal. That's their plan. So that is their plan. Assault the base at night, destroy the beefsteak before it becomes a problem, locate Onion 4, evac before backup shows up. Okay, cool. We're gonna change this up a little bit, because I like playing with different situations in order to create it. So we have this setting set up. It's in a mountainous region. We have their goals. We have the setting of the world. Now we have to define the characters that are involved here. This is another 4v1 fight. But it's technically 5v1 because Salt 1 is feeding them information. Salt 1 is feeding them intel and is giving them intel in the surrounding area. Salt 1 is operating from a command vehicle miles behind them. So Salt 1 isn't in base, but Salt 1 is closer to base than they are. So Salt 1 is effectively out of the fight. I might have something to drag Salt 1 into the fight. I don't know. Might do a thing where Salt 1 comes running into the fight. Okay, so now we've defined the setting. Let's define the characters. Okay. Platoon leader. What was she? She was... Mech pilot. Garlic 3 is a mech pilot. Hey, I think it's interesting to define what they used to do before they do this. Right? I'm going to make Garlic 3 non-binary. What are some other good artsy professions that would be rendered, that would be deemed by a pseudo-fascist state, that would be deemed unnecessary and then forced to fight a horrific war? Graphic designer, poet, philosopher, historian. Operator. What was she? What was Salt 1? Salt 1 was something deemed a little bit more necessary, but not totally necessary. Like, they want her to survive, but she still has to fight. Wants to be taken seriously. Okay. All right. Beefsteak pilot. Leaves and meat supremacy. Okay. Hold on, I gotta sneeze. Come on, come out. She's not coming out. Like, I have to sneeze and I move the mic away from my face to let it come out, but it just isn't coming out. We don't need a whole lot from him. What's the goal? The goal here. What they don't know is that the particle cannons have a limited number of shots in exchange for their devastating power and range. On the hip. That's what they don't know. One cannon removed to replace it. Okay. So then we have, so that goal has failed. Particle cannon. Okay. So we expound on some of that. No, actually, I don't think we'll expound on that. I think we'll move past that because the characters don't know that. The viewpoint, the point of view characters don't know that. And I think finding that out partway through the fight will be more poignant. Like when it, after its fifth shot, it like dropping the cannon, like detaching the cannon will be the sign that something's up. So positive progress, react. So what, now they're reacting to the disaster, which is the beefsteak launches. Start shooting. 100mm rifles. Assault 1. You normally want at least you want like 2 to 4 exchanges. So I'll plan for like 4 phrases of the fight scene. So this is phrase 2. So we want some escalation here. But there was already escalation because the beefsteak's launching at them. Now we want to escalate again with a negative progress. We want to escalate for a negative progress. They're coming at it from the east, so they're moving west. So we'll say on the north side. Yacked. Okay. So this part here, there's a change in power. The main characters have taken the power in that situation. So I wanna have a little bit of definition there. Because they've completed a goal. They've completed a goal, and there's been a change in the position of power. And then for this one, at the end of this one, we'll have a second. So we will note, actually, so, oh my gosh, it's 10:30 and I've just been planning. Oh my gosh. I don't think we're going to get through with this tonight. Losing that half hour fighting with setting stuff really, really hurt. They fire particles, fire charge particles. So we'll say it has a limited number of charged particles. Okay. That's 1, 2, 3. That's the escalation. So this should be the resolution of the fight. Because this is the 4th phrase. So this should be the resolution of the fight. Garlic 3 is the one who wants to make sure everybody survives, right? Actually, not salt. We'll say since garlic 2 mentions the... Okay. This is the final phrase. Okay. Okay, on its way down. We might go late because we lost so much time. I don't know. Now that we've got everything situated, we'll see. Okay, the shock waves. Okay, fires 2 shots on its way down. Okay. This is to be the positive progress. What are they trying to do here? Garlic 3 is a... Yeah, oh, it is them. Okay. Start sprinting at them. So they have the power here because it detaches its particle cannon and jet engines and starts sprinting at them. Remind the reader they're in a mountainous region. This is going to be a longer fight scene. I only wanted 4 phrases, but so much is happening. I'll say garlic. Maybe garlic 2? No. Yeah, garlic 2, the nerd. No. He's going to cut through garlic 2, but garlic or garlic 1, and then garlic 3 throws himself in front. Himself? Yeah, 3 is the non-binary. Yeah. Okay. React. Ooh, okay. So now this needs to be something powerful to act. This needs to be. This needs to. I mean, it's kind of repetitious, going good, bad, good, bad, good, bad. I'll vary things up more. This is more just practicing, actually intentionally plotting out an entire fight scene before I write the fight scene. And wow, is this exhausting. All right. It's funny. We've spent all night going over all of the stuff from the last fight scene, and then now we've written all this stuff, but I haven't put a word down in the actual fight scene. I've just been plotting out this fight scene. And this is a bit of a doozy. This is going to be a longer one. I'm probably going to write this later. I might write this while I'm hanging out while I'm hanging out with my partner later. I don't know. But this has been good practice for plotting out a fight scene. Detonate, killing them all. No. Okay. Ooh. That was a thing. Oh my gosh. Now I gotta actually write it. Chat, now I gotta actually write it. Okay. We got like 5 minutes left. About 10 minutes left. I'll probably, instead of doing the normal half-hour wrap-up, I'll probably go all the way till 11:30. So I'll give it another 40 minutes. Another 35 minutes and see how far I can get. But I'm confident that we've planned out like a good fight scene. Yeah, all that prep. But the thing is, before, right? I had no method. I was kind of just doing this like series of payoff setup, like setup, payoff, setup, payoff, setup, payoff, setup, payoff. And it was kind of just like, bleh. This actually gives me a rhythm and a thing in order to go through, in order to have ups and downs throughout the fight. How do you pronounce that? How do you spell subdermal? Yeah, it is subdermal. Okay. Subdermal. Okay. Okay. Activated his subdermal distress beacon. Uh, uh, okay. Should be operating a small squad of grunt drones to gather intel for them during the operation. How do you spell personnel? There we go. One of those drones was an extra large drone for personnel transport. Onion 3. Who would be complaining? Who would be complaining among this group? No, it would be Garlic 4. All right. So now we have that little exchange. Only one who hasn't talked yet is Garlic 2, so I need to have Garlic 2 say something. Okay. All right. Okay, so now we've established all four of the characters, all four of the primary characters. Now I just need to do something with Salt 1, and then we've set the stage on the rocks. I need Salt 1 to say something, and probably set the stage, and that'll be the end of this scene, and then we'll get into the actual fight scene. That's not bad for an introduction. Like, this has only been 600 words. A 600-word intro to the fight scene? That's not bad at all. It'll probably come out to like 800 words. Okay. Okay. Oh my gosh, it's 11:27. Holy cow. I'm just gonna let the stream even back out. How many words is this? 800 words. And we're about to get... I knew it was going to be about 800. For an introduction to a fight scene, I think that's not bad. Time has flown. I wanted to practice fight scenes, and I talked about what it takes to write a fight scene. I plotted out a fight scene. I think we still did accomplish this though. Like, we plotted out a stuff about a scene, plotted out an entire fight scene. Everything except for the ending. The ending is kind of rushed for that. I might go back and replot out the ending. But I have to actually write these things that I plotted out. But I don't want the stream to go too long. We already had to deal with enough stuff. Let's wind down for the night. Oh my gosh. One Piece fights would be so crazy. So insane. All right. Also, One Piece is... Yeah. Like, plotting those out, but also, like... One Piece fights have from what I've seen of them, they have so many moving parts, and so much of One Piece is just so, like, ridiculous. Like, I watched the Gear 5 fight, the first Gear 5 fight, because that was, like, the big popular thing, and I'm like, I haven't seen much One Piece. Like, I watched a little bit. I think I watched a couple episodes when it aired on 4Kids. And I've seen like bits and pieces and clips here and there, and then I'd seen a lot of clips about like the stuff for the live action series. So I watched the Gear 5 fight just to be like, all right, this is the latest and greatest fight. This is the one that everybody's been hyping up. This is the one they said was going to break the internet. Let's see what this one looks like, right? And like Nabiru, I gotta say, like, that fight, that fight, I don't know how to put it. Like, I wouldn't know. I don't know if insanity is what I'd call it. Like, there were literal Looney Tunes sound effects. And I'm just like, what? There were literally Looney Tunes sound effects when Luffy was doing his thing. And like, see, that's the thing, Nabiru. I was expecting some kind of like super powered, intense, over the top, visually stunning thing, and I got like Looney Tunes. And I'm like, that style is just not what I'm looking for. Like, there's all this exposition about the whole the return of something boy, the drums of liberation, and all this, that, and the third, and like all like they're hyping this up as this big, epic, super amazing moment, and like he's just bouncing. That's all he's literally working on Bugs Bunny physics. Like, oh, yeah, that's great. That's great. I'm just like, this is what y'all been hyping up, like. And I say that as a bit of an exaggeration, right? I think it was not what I was looking for. Like, it was not what I expected. It wasn't what I was looking for. And yeah, I just like, I think the only really impressive thing for me when I watched, like, as more clips and stuff got added and got released, as people put more clips of the fight up, as like more episodes went on, I would go back and watch and see as they, like, people put up stuff, is that dude, he was fighting Kaido, learning how to fight a Looney Tune, and actually fighting back against Luffy's Looney Tune physics. Mm-hmm. So starting next year, I might have to start like recording my stream as I'm streaming in order to start using it to make YouTube videos, because next year, 2024, I'm gonna try to like be more serious about this content creation thing. I re-downloaded DaVinci Resolve. I'm gonna be relearning how to like edit videos and stuff, and then again, I could just download it from YouTube, so I might not need to do that. But yeah, I'm gonna be doing. Then again, if I record it, it'll record in a higher resolution than I'm streaming it because of my cruddy internet. So I'll probably be able to make higher quality clips. But yeah, I'll be making stuff out of clips of the videos, of the streams. I'll probably go back and do some more stuff where I'm exploring more TTRPGs again, because I was doing that for a hot minute. Like I was doing TTRPG stuff for a hot minute. Like I was doing a few things where I was exploring different TTRPGs. And I think I might make that a regular thing I go back to doing, where like I am building characters in TTRPG. So my thought is, right, I have a stream where I build a character in a TTRPG, and then I clip that together into a video that I keep uploaded as a, this is how you build this, how you build the character in a TTRPG, in this TTRPG. And then, because those are some of my most popular videos are my stuff from Mutants and Masterminds, where I'm building characters, where I'm explaining rules, and where I'm using those as references, and that's what a lot of people came for. So I think I might start putting more of that type of content. Maybe not Mutants and Masterminds, because all my books are in storage, and I don't feel like completely working off of PDFs, but like do some more Prowlers and Paragons Ultimate Edition, do some mask stuff. Maybe I'll make a Spider-Man, because my Miles Morales video for my Spider-Man Mutants and Masterminds video is one of, if not the most popular. It's one of my most popular videos. So like I might do another. I didn't play the new Spider-Man game. Like I made that after Into the Spider-Verse. So, and I based it on essentially Wikipedia articles. So I could do something. I could do something in Prowlers and Paragons. Maybe I'll do Black Panther. That was one of the big ones. That was one of the other big ones that people came to my thing for. And that one was so poorly done. Oh my gosh. I would do that so differently now that I've had a lot more experience. Even in Mutants and Masterminds, I would have built that one differently. Anyway. Yeah. Next year, I'm going to start taking stuff more seriously. I don't want to lose, like, the charm and the fun of it, but I do want to, like, actually try, I guess. I've been not coasting, but I've been kind of, like, sitting on idle for a long time. And there's part of me that just wants to see what I'm capable of. And maybe not, like, try for a long time, but just, like, for when I can. Yeah, scuff is good sometimes. Like today was a scuffy stream. Today was a scuffy stream till I had to literally find the video that I watched forever ago that was like, this is how you stream if you have less than 1 megabyte per second upload. Because my upload speed went down to like 0.8 megabytes. And I'm like, well, rip that. And what you're supposed to do is like for every like megabyte that you have, you're supposed to do like, what is it, 100 or 1,000 kilobytes for every megabyte you have of upload speed. You're supposed to do like 1,000 kilobytes of your bit rate combined between your video and your audio bit rate. And like I had flipping 2,500 set as my bit rate, and I was like, oh, that's why it's not going, because like my bit rate's too high. And I changed my settings so it went down to 480p. But it's fine for now. Anyway, thank you all for coming. Thank you for humoring me and coming back after all of the scuff. Hopefully we won't have that happen again. I know I say that every time. Every time I say, hopefully we don't have that happen again. And then like it always just about happens every time. If you want to look at the things I referenced about how to plot out a fight scene, there are links in the description to the 2 videos that I learned from, that I took notes on. I definitely recommend those, as those are really great videos on learning about writing fight scenes. And I recommend them for anyone who is interested in it. And if you do and you figure something out that you think is better or more functional than what I was doing, leave it in a comment on the VOD. You can leave comments, which is cool. Anyway, let's wind down for the night. Dun dun dun. So, for those of you who don't know, I like to say positive things about my viewers in order to speak goodness and positivity into their lives. So I will say to Silva, to Jusuf, to Naberu, there's myself, to Superhero 60, to anyone who watched the stream and didn't say anything in chat, and to anyone who watches this VOD afterwards, I will say, I love all of you, and I believe in each and every one of you. I think that you are truly special, wonderful, one of a kind, and unique. I think that you all are truly wonderful individuals and that you make this world a better place by living in it. I believe that each one of you is a truly special and precious treasure of a person. Thank you for coming to this stream, and thank you for giving me your time, your attention, and your energy. And please always remember the Star Hunter motto: shoot for the stars, have wonderful adventures, live your dreams, and always stop to enjoy the memes. One thing I do ask is that you like the stream. It helps the algorithm with pushing it out to other people, lets me know what people want, lets me know what people are here for, lets me know you are here. If you have any friends, neighbors, aunts, uncles, nephews, brothers, sisters, or coworkers that you think might enjoy my content, feel free to show them my content or invite them to next stream. Next stream is going to be Friday, 8:30 p.m. EST. I look forward to seeing you there. It should be a blast. Don't know what we'll do. Maybe we'll do more writing. Maybe we'll go back to Zoids. Maybe we'll do Legend of Dragoon. I haven't done that in like 2 months. Maybe we'll do Chained Echoes. I haven't done that in like 3 months. Goodness. Have yourselves a wonderful night, and I want you to know that you're amazing. If you want to keep up with what I'm doing on YouTube, you could subscribe and ding the notification bell to let you know whenever I go live or when I release any new content. If you want to keep up with what I'm doing outside of YouTube, you can follow me on X or Twitter and join my Discord. Links to both of those are down in the description below. Please remember, you're never required to donate to be here. You are never expected to pay to be a member of this community. I never want anyone to feel like they have to pay to be welcome here. With that said, I am grateful to each and every person who has donated in the past, who has helped make things possible, who has helped me to be able to do things that I would not have been able to do without your help. Thank you to all of you for who have helped me in the past and who will help me in the future. Thank you, and I appreciate all of you. If you ever feel motivated to do so, and you are in a position where it's financially safe and stable for you to do so, there are links where you can do that down in the description below. Have yourselves a wonderful night. Next stream is going to be Friday, 8:30 p.m. EST, and I will see all of you there.